The public hygiene facility on Station Meridian wasn't much to look at. A converted cargo module with basic shower stalls that charged by the minute. Ethan Cole had used it countless times during his years working construction on the station, when his cheap apartment's water had been shut off for maintenance, or when he'd been between jobs and sleeping in his cargo van. He understood what it meant to count every credit, to have to choose between clean clothes or a hot meal. That's why he noticed her. She sat on the bench outside the facility, her orange skin dulled by what looked like weeks of dirt and grime, her blonde hair matted and tangled. She wore clothes that had once been fine, expensive fabric and elegant cut, but were now torn and stained beyond recognition. Most tellingly, she was staring at the facility's payment terminal with an expression of such desperate longing that it made Ethan's chest ache. He just finished his shift and was planning to grab a quick shower before heading home. But something about the woman's posture, the defeated slump of her shoulders, the way she kept reaching for the terminal then pulling back made him pause. "Hey," he said gently, not wanting to startle her. "You okay?" She looked up, and Ethan saw eyes that were a striking purple color rimmed with dark circles that spoke of exhaustion and hunger. "I'm fine," she said automatically, her voice hoarse. "Just resting." "Right," Ethan said, not believing her for a second. He told himself the same lie plenty of times. "Listen, I've got extra credits on my account here. The showers are empty right now. Why don't you use one? No charge." The woman's purple eyes widened. "I couldn't." "Sure you could," Ethan interrupted gently. "I'm offering no strings, no expectations, just a shower." When she still hesitated, he added, "I've been where you are. I know what it's like to feel invisible, to have people walk past like you don't exist. Let me do this one small thing, okay?" For a moment, the woman looked like she might cry. Then she nodded, standing slowly as if her body hurt. "Thank you. You have no idea what this means." "I think I do," Ethan said, swiping his account at the terminal and setting up access for her. "Take your time. Use the full 40 minutes if you need to. The water's not great, but it's hot." 40 minutes, the woman repeated like he'd offered her a fortune. Thank you, truly." Ethan waited outside, partly to make sure no one bothered her, and partly because something told him she might need help when she emerged. He used the time to grab a sandwich from the nearby vending machines. Two, actually, and a bottle of juice. When the woman finally came out, she looked transformed. Her orange skin glowed with health now that the grime was gone, revealing intricate natural markings along her arms and neck that reminded Ethan of watercolor paintings. Her blonde hair, though still wet, hung in clean waves past her shoulders. She'd done her best to clean her clothes, but they were still obviously damaged. "Here," Ethan said, offering her the food. "You look like you could use this." The woman stared at the sandwich, then at Ethan, then back at the sandwich. Her hands trembled as she took it. "Why are you being so kind to me? You don't know me." "Does that matter?" Ethan asked. "You needed help. I could help. That's all there is to it." She ate the first sandwich so quickly Ethan worried she might choke. He handed her the juice, which she drank in long gulps, then started on the second sandwich more slowly. When she finally finished, she looked at him with those striking purple eyes and said, "My name is Arya." "Ethan," he replied. "Nice to meet you, Arya. Can I ask how you ended up out here?" Arya's expression shuddered. "It's complicated." "Most things worth knowing are," Ethan said. He glanced at the station's chronometer. "Look, I know this is forward, but I have a couch in my apartment. It's not much, but it's better than sleeping on these benches. You could crash there tonight, get some real rest." Tomorrow we could figure out what resources are available, maybe get you connected with station services. No, Arya said sharply, then softened her tone. No services, no official channels, I can't. There are people looking for me. Ethan felt alarm bells go off. Are you in danger? Not the way you're thinking, Arya said quickly. I'm not a criminal, I haven't hurt anyone, but there are people who want to find me, and if I use any official channels, they'll know where I am. She looked away. I shouldn't have accepted your help. I'm putting you at risk just by talking to you. Let me worry about my own risks, Ethan said. The offer stands. One night on my couch, no questions asked. In the morning, you can decide what to do next. Arya studied him for a long moment, and Ethan had the strange feeling she was seeing far more than just his face. Finally, she nodded. One night, and Ethan, thank you. For the shower, the food, the kindness. You've given me the first hope I've felt in 3 weeks. Ethan's apartment was exactly as he described, not much. A single room with a kitchenette, a bathroom barely large enough to turn around in, and furniture that had seen better days. But it was clean and warm, and when Arya saw the couch, she actually smiled. It's perfect, she said. Ethan found spare blankets and a pillow, set up the couch, and showed Arya where everything was. Bathrooms there, kitchens there, help yourself to whatever. I work construction, so I leave early around 500 station time. You can stay as long as you need tomorrow. Just lock the door when you leave. You're trusting me alone in your apartment? Arya asked, surprised. You're trusting me to let you sleep here, Ethan pointed out. Seems like trust should go both ways. That night, Ethan lay in his small bedroom and wondered what he'd gotten himself into. He'd helped people before. It wasn't unusual on a station like Meridian where fortunes changed quickly. But something about Arya felt different. The quality of her clothes before they'd been ruined, the way she carried herself despite obvious exhaustion, the carefully educated way she spoke. None of it matched the image of typical station homeless. He fell asleep still puzzling over it. When Ethan woke at 4:30, he found Arya already awake, sitting on the couch and staring at the station viewport. She'd folded the blankets neatly and was wearing the same damaged clothes. Couldn't sleep? Ethan asked, starting the coffee maker. I slept better than I have in weeks, Arya said. I just woke early. Ethan, I need to tell you something. Okay, Ethan said, pouring 2 cups of coffee and bringing one to her. Arya wrapped her hands around the mug like it was precious. I haven't been completely honest with you, not lying exactly, but not telling you the whole truth either. She took a breath. My full name is Arya Thessalon. My family controls the largest shipping consortium in the outer colonies, the Thessalon Group. Ethan nearly dropped his coffee. The Thessalon Group was legendary, a multi-billion credit operation that moved goods across half the known galaxy. You're from the Thessalon family? The Thessalon family? Yes, Arya said. Or I was until 3 weeks ago when I ran away from my own wedding. The story came out in a rush. Arya had been engaged to the son of another powerful family, an arrangement made when she was a child to cement a business alliance. She'd accepted it, believing she could make the best of the situation. But as the wedding approached, she discovered the truth about her intended husband. His addiction to illegal substances, his violent temper, the string of previous partners he'd abused. I told my father I wouldn't marry him, Arya said, her voice bitter. I showed him the evidence I'd gathered, and do you know what he said? He said the alliance was too important, that I would do my duty regardless of personal concerns, that I was being dramatic. So you ran, Ethan said. I ran, Arya confirmed. I emptied my personal accounts, which my father immediately froze. I tried to book passage off station, but he'd flagged my identity across all official channels. I've been living in the maintenance tunnels and back corridors ever since, trying to figure out how to get off Meridian without being found. Why not just go to the authorities? Ethan asked. Explain the situation. Because my father is Darius Thessalon, Arya said. He has connections everywhere, including station security. The moment I surface officially, he'll have me returned home for my own protection. The wedding will proceed, and I'll spend the rest of my life trapped in an abusive marriage for the sake of business profits. Ethan set down his coffee, his mind racing. Okay, so you need to get off station without being detected. Do you have any friends, anyone you could trust? Everyone I knew either works for my family or has business relationships with them, Arya said. I can't ask for help without putting them in an impossible position. She looked at him. You're the first person in 3 weeks who's shown me kindness without knowing who I am, who helped because it was the right thing to do, not because of my family name. About that, Ethan said slowly. The shower and the food, you said I have no idea what it means. But I'm guessing for someone like you, someone who's never had to worry about basic necessities, having to beg for a shower was. Humiliating, Arya finished. Terrifying, eye-opening. She met his gaze. I thought I understood how the galaxy worked, Ethan. I thought I was aware of my privilege, but until I was sitting outside that hygiene facility, unable to afford even basic cleanliness, unable to ask for help because I couldn't trust anyone, I didn't really understand anything. Ethan made a decision. I have a friend who runs freight runs to the outer stations. Independent operator, doesn't ask questions, doesn't report manifests to anyone but customs. If I could get you to his ship, he could get you off Meridian. Why would you do this? Arya asked. If my father finds out you helped me, he could make your life very difficult. Let him try, Ethan said. I've been poor before, I can be poor again. What I can't do is stand by and let someone be forced into an abusive situation when I have the power to help. He paused. Besides, you said it yourself. I helped you because it was the right thing to do. That doesn't change just because I know who you are now. Arya's eyes filled with tears. You're either the bravest man I've ever met or the most foolish. Probably both, Ethan admitted with a slight smile. But that's never stopped me before. The plan was simple but risky. Ethan's friend Marcus ran a weekly freight route that departed from Meridian's lower docking bays, the older, less monitored section of the station. If they could get Arya there without being spotted, Marcus could smuggle her aboard and get her to a station where the Thessalon family had less influence. The challenge was getting her there. Station security had facial recognition scanners throughout the main corridors, and Arya's features. Her distinctive orange skin, her purple eyes would flag any system programmed to look for her. I have an idea, Ethan said, but you're not going to like it. 2 hours later, Arya stood in Ethan's bathroom, staring at her reflection. Ethan had borrowed theater makeup from a friend who worked at the station's entertainment district. Heavy foundation that covered her orange skin, making it appear closer to human tones. Colored contacts hid her purple eyes. A work jumpsuit and safety helmet completed the disguise. I look like a maintenance worker, Arya said. That's the idea, Ethan confirmed. No one pays attention to maintenance workers. We're invisible. He handed her a tool kit. Carry this. If anyone asks, You're with me doing environmental system checks. They made their way through the station using maintenance access corridors and service lifts, avoiding the main thoroughfares. Twice they passed security patrols, and both times the guards' eyes slid right over them, seeing only two workers doing routine tasks. The lower docking bays were exactly as Ethan remembered, dimly lit, poorly maintained, and blissfully unmonitored. Marcus's ship, the Vagrant's Hope, sat in Bay 47, and Marcus himself stood at the cargo ramp. "This is the package," Marcus asked, eyeing Arya. "This is Arya," Ethan said firmly. "She needs passage to Outpost Haven, no questions asked." Marcus studied them both, then shrugged. "Your word's good with me, Ethan. Departure's in 20 minutes. Better say your goodbyes now." Arya turned to Ethan, and he saw she was crying despite the colored contacts. "I don't know how to thank you. You gave me a shower, a meal, a safe place to sleep. But more than that, you gave me back my dignity. You saw me as a person worth helping, not as an asset or a problem to be managed." "You are worth helping," Ethan said. "And Arya, when you get where you're going, when you're safe and settled, don't forget what it felt like to be invisible. Use this experience to make things better for people who don't have your resources." "I won't forget," Arya promised. "Any of it." She stepped closer and kissed him softly on the cheek. "Especially not you, Ethan Cole, the man who covered a shower cost and changed my life." "It was just a shower," Ethan protested. "No," Arya said, "it was everything." 6 months later, Ethan was returning from his construction shift when he found an official-looking package waiting at his apartment door. Inside was a data pad with a message: "Ethan, I made it to Haven safely." From there, I contacted family, friends my father doesn't control, people who were horrified to learn what he'd tried to force me into. The wedding is officially canceled. My intended husband is facing charges for his previous crimes. Turns out I wasn't the first person he'd abused. And my father and I are in negotiations about my role in the company, on my terms this time. I'm using my position to establish a fund for homeless and displaced people across the outer colonies. Free access to hygiene facilities, meal vouchers, temporary housing assistance. All the things I learned were essential during my 3 weeks on the streets. The first facility opens next month on Meridian Station. I hope you'll come to the dedication ceremony. You covered the cost of a shower and asked nothing in return. But you gave me so much more. You gave me hope when I had none, trust when I couldn't trust anyone, and a reminder that kindness exists even in the darkest circumstances. I will spend the rest of my life trying to pay that forward. With deepest gratitude, Arya. P.S. There's a construction contract included with this message. My company is building the new facility, and I'd like you to oversee the project, if you're interested. I can think of no one better to ensure it serves the people who need it most." Ethan looked through the rest of the package and found the contract details. The pay was more than he'd make in 5 years of regular construction work. But more than that, it was a chance to build something meaningful, something that would help people the way he'd helped Arya. He thought about that morning in the hygiene facility, about the desperate woman on the bench and the simple decision to offer help. He'd covered the cost of a shower, 40 minutes of hot water, and basic dignity. In return, he'd gained a friend, a purpose, and the knowledge that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness ripple outward in ways we can never predict. Ethan called Marcus. "Remember that package we shipped 6 months ago? The one that wasn't supposed to exist," Marcus said dryly. That's the one. Turns out she's doing pretty well. And you? Ethan looked at the contract again, at the chance to build something that mattered. I'm doing pretty well, too. He'd helped a homeless woman get cleaned up and given her a place to sleep. She'd turned out to be one of the richest people in the sector. But the real treasure wasn't her wealth or the opportunities she was offering. It was the reminder that every person had value, that dignity wasn't something you earned through status or money, and that sometimes the most important thing you could do was see someone who felt invisible and show them they mattered. Ethan had covered the shower cost for a homeless alien woman. Her secret, her identity, her circumstances, her potential had come out. But the secret that mattered most was simpler. That kindness given freely without expectation of return had the power to change lives, both the givers and the receivers, and sometimes, in the best circumstances, it changed the world.